Snipers, you have to see what's happening to the Bitcoin price this Sunday as we had a daily candle high yesterday of 49,699 and 5 cents, literally pennies shy of the $49,700 resistance level that we've been monitoring. And so we know that the range that we're currently in has a resistance here at 49,700. As long as we're above 44,800, we can assume that the range resistance is 49,700. So it's not a coincidence that Bitcoin wasn't able to get back above this level. But with this bottom candle forming here, with the initial drop here, with this major wick testing this 200-day moving average, and the price action staying very close to 49,700, the question is, what would happen if we were able to get above 49,700? What is the next area of resistance? And then, of course, we'll also talk about the downside scenario, because the closer that we get to 44,800 and the longer that we stay below 49,700, if 44,800 breaks, the likelihood we come back to test 41,950 comes on the table. And we don't want to see this happen, because knocking on the door for a second time, the likelihood that it could open comes on the table, where 38,000 may be one of the downside targets. So we don't want to get below 44,800 is really the point. But when it comes to upside targets, if we start to see price action finally get above 49,700, you know, on the Snipers channel, we wait for hourly and then 4-hour candle confirmation, full bodies and wicks above 49,700. If we see that break, there's a market structural resistance right around 52,300 and 53,000 US dollars. If we get above that level, that to me would be the early signs of a successful rescue operation, because that puts us above this market structural currently as a resistance, but then it would turn into support. And then now the monthly open comes on the table to test 57,000, which brings us so close to 58,300. Now we can start talking about upside targets if we get to that point. But we do have to get above 49,700 as our first major roadblock. At some point or another, we need to start seeing some buy pressure equate to this amount of sell pressure, but that could come on another retest of this support. That could even come if we break above 49,700. So we'll continue to monitor the volume as well. Notice here on the weekly chart, the 20-week moving average also shows confluence with this $53,000 level. So that really would be the area that we have to get above. Of course, that's home base. None of this is just mud thrown up against the wall. There's a reason all of these levels are where they're at and why price action reacts to these levels. This is a science, but it's also an art. And so this 20-week moving average, 53,000, is the key level that we have to rescue in order to start talking about some upside targets. And then 49,700 would be the early signs of that. Getting above that is extremely important out this new weekly candle. And of course, 44,800 being the most important support level right now. We stay above 44,800. We're also going to be staying above this 50-week moving average, currently sitting at 47,500. You can see the total cryptocurrency market cap, despite Bitcoin kind of staying at this higher range, close to 49,700, we're seeing a little bit of a slippage here below 2.259 trillion. We need to watch this here, because if we stay below 2.259 trillion, 1.78 trillion comes on the table for the total market cap. And so this assumes that even though Bitcoin is kind of stabilizing, altcoins are still being sold off, and that's clearly reflected here on this chart that factors in altcoins outside of Ethereum coming below its 200-day moving average right now. So that's something to notate, and that's not a surprise, because we've been expecting Bitcoin dominance not necessarily to show strength just yet, because we're still below its daily moving averages, but we don't really expect it to go down much further. And the reason I say that is it looks like we've got a double bottom here, and the Bitcoin dominance chart loves to follow the DXY and the macro. And so at some point or another, I think that we'll see a little bit more upside here with Bitcoin dominance. And the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart, of course, Ethereum being one of the most bullish altcoins, reaching our target here of 86,000 Satoshis, we are literally going to have to start drawing out more macro resistance levels, because if this chart breaks above 86,000 Satoshis, now we have to go on this weekly chart and look at the past and determine further resistance levels, because breaking above 86,000 Satoshis for Ethereum is going to be huge for the US dollar pairing to potentially continue to price discovery and see new all-time highs, regardless of what Bitcoin does. And so 86,000 Satoshis was our major target. I think that we'll stay here maybe below it for the next few days, but we will start drawing some upside targets. If we get above it, it's going to be a very big breakout for Ethereum, most likely. and the Ethereum to US dollar pairing reflecting that, showing strength with this downside move for Bitcoin. Notice how we are extremely close to 43.73, and that's really where we just have to get above to see continued price discovery and new all-time highs for Ethereum, because that puts us back above the 50-day moving average and the previous all-time high. And now we're camping out at 41.25, and we saw this wick all the way down to 34.54 to test this area. We didn't even get to test this major level, even though Bitcoin did get to that $41,950 level. Ethereum sort of turned around quicker than that, and then we saw volume come in to buy this dip up. 43.73 breaking to the upside could happen even if Bitcoin doesn't get above 49,700, if the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart starts to break out. But if Bitcoin gets back above 49,700, the likelihood that we see continued price discovery and new all-time highs for Ethereum is on the table. That's not a surprise because we've been monitoring this chart. And then traditional markets are just now opening up for futures. To Bitcoin chart, notice here how we got above this 20-week moving average, and now we're completely above this with this weekly candle starting to open up. The question is, are we going to be seeing this continue further up? Right now, this is a full confirmation that this could be a reversal in trend and a double bottom here for the gold to Bitcoin chart. So that's an interesting puzzle piece there. If we get back below the 20-week moving average, I'll let you guys know. And with that, thank you all for tuning into the Snipers channel this Sunday. I hope you had an amazing day. What an exciting time in the markets. I'm expecting a lot of volatility into this week. Bitcoin has a CME gap as well at around that $51,300 level. So that's also on the table. We'll have our previous weekly opens updated for you guys tomorrow. Thank you all for tuning into the Snipers channel today. Let's hit 200 likes on this video. We almost hit it on our last video. It was at like 175. And I'll see you guys next week. Snipers.